Hi everybody, Radical Gardener. Well, it is Saturday, June 4th, and there's a huge storm going through just south of us. So it looks like we're going to miss that, but that happens a lot where I live. We just don't seem to be in the path. We get storms, but I believe due to pole shifting and the grand solar minimum that the patterns are changing in regards to how the weather's moving. So here in Florida, they're going further north. They're coming in a lot through North Carolina and further north. And then they're moving west. So they'll sometimes miss the Gulf and they'll come in through Louisiana and Texas. So it's been a noticeable shift. Now, Flagler Beach has never been one to get a lot of those storms. I mean, we've had a few hurricanes come through here, but comparatively very, very, very minimal. And I looked at it. It wouldn't stop me from moving somewhere. I just don't base my decisions on anything like that. If I'm feeling I need to go somewhere, I go there. But one of the things I did consider, St. Augustine is the oldest city in the country. 1500, I think it was incorporated as a city. And it's just 20 minutes north of us, and it's still standing. I figure I'm okay. All right. So I think now this is going to be more about the Terahertz Frequency wand. It has 100 names. We just call it the wand. And one of the things I want you to look at, this is a superficial thing. My hair is growing like a weed. Like I told you, my hair was I was losing hair. It would be everywhere. It could be in my hands, I'd be cooking. It was it was really annoying. And now it never happens. There's very little hair in my brush, but I want you to see the length of how fast my hair is growing. Look at this. And it's so healthy. Can you see that? It shines. Remember, going to be 71. I'm just saying. People are losing their hair, but I keep running my hands through it because it feels so good. And I've colored my hair. I'm not going to color it anymore. I'm in the sun so much, and it just is blonder. So I just don't want to put chemicals on next to my brain anymore, even though I did it most of my life. But there's some, let's get back to the, what's really important. So there's a testimonial page on Facebook, and it's called the IteraHertz Testimonial Group. I think I left in a link on a previous video, but it's spelled IteraCare, IteraHertz Testimonial Group. Some of you did reach out and said that you wanted one, and I sent a lot of links to you, and it really made a believer out of most people. Some people even sign up to be distributors. We're basically, let me just say this. This is not a medical device. I'm not claiming any big healings. You can't do that. Can't do that. But just saying. It's a device that aids in better health. Let's put it that way. Okay. All right. But we got what circulated around was a video. It's very graphic, but I am going to include it down below. Watch it. It is this fellow who shares his story, 68 years old, 65 years old, in his 60s, and he fell off of a roof of his gazebo onto some scaffolding, and man, he sliced his leg to the bone. I mean, sliced it to the bone. Now, if you know anything about open wounds, really deep open wounds, they're almost impossible to heal. They almost always get infected. you know, and I don't think doctors know anything about inflammation. They not say, oh, it's inflamed. They give you antibiotics. You know, we'll put somebody on a non-inflammatory diet. You know, start giving them oregano oil, which I've just found for infections is just it's better than any antibiotic I've ever taken. But that's me. You know, I'm just saying. And I'll tell you, if I would have had that open wound, it would have burned like a son of a bitch, and I'd probably scream for an hour, but I would have poured a freaking bottle into that thing. I mean, you know. But this guy went through hell. I mean, he was going to lose his leg. I mean, infection after infection, and the skin is atrophying, and it smells like he's dying because his skin is dying, and they've got him on 85 days, I think, of antibiotics, and they've got him on pain medication so he can sleep. I mean, it is ugly. So somebody, a friend of his wife, drops off a wand and says, here, use this, and leaves it with him. So he starts working on his leg, and immediately it starts to turn the corner. So, and then what he also found is that after a few days of doing it, and he's drinking the charged water, you know, that's part of it, is drinking the charged water. I charge it 3 to 5 minutes in the morning. You know, I do it every morning. And I have a hair dryer stand I got on Amazon. I just hang it. It fits perfectly because it's actually the size of a hair dryer. And then I can just walk away, and it just, you know, it charges. And I also use that to do my back and what have you. So I don't need a second person to help me. But anyways, so he found after a couple of days that his skin breaks out in a rash because all the drugs are coming out, the antibiotics. I mean, you know, he's on these antibiotics for I think it was like almost 90 days. That's incredible, every day. And then, you know, he's taking pain medication. Anyways, all this stuff's coming out of his skin. But he understood that. He got it. And he started to... you know, he says it's still, you know, he's still breaking out a little bit as it comes out. So if you have a lot of that in your system, you know, be prepared. I actually went through that with the C60, where, and I still do sometimes. Like, if there's something in my system shouldn't be there, it gets pushed out. And it always gets pushed out through my skin. People would, sometimes it's a lung thing, or they get a hacking cough. Me, it always comes out through my skin. So, but then he found out, and a lot of men are really suffering from this, is that he had erectile dysfunction. So, ED. So, you know, he had that. He's had problem for years with his prostate. So he put the wand on there, and he said, changed everything. That's huge. I mean, health food stores, their doors are open because they're selling all these health remedies for that very issue. So I'm going to go through the testimonial page a little bit. Why am I doing this? Yes, I'm going to sell it. Yes, I'm selling it. I'm doing this because we've got to accept that frequency is how we're going to heal. This is really like having a med bed in your hand. And then there's something else I want to talk about, not in this video, but it's another healing tool that is really something special. But that costs a lot more money. I can't afford it, but it actually heals groups of people at a time. So there's this technology that's coming out now that we need to pay attention to. And again, this is a terahertz frequency. We've known about these frequencies for like 30 years, and it's it's in the lower band of frequencies. It was actually a Chinese scientist. I have that link. I'm going to add all these links down the bottom, and it talks about how he came across this. He was awarded every high honor for it. I mean, it's really a big deal that he was able to take this frequency, utilize this frequency, and capture it in a way where we can utilize it, right? So, and we need to have something that works in our house. So, I take a glutathione that is crazy good, that was developed by a scientist out of Harvard, and he's working with a doctor scientist who's based out of Michigan, and they weren't allowed to conduct studies in this country with their glutathione, so they're doing studies in Zimbabwe, and it's he came across, or he developed, or he discovered this glutathione that will actually permeate your cells, which is key. And this is what we really want to keep cleaned out. This is where the graphene oxide is, where all these things are that we don't want them in our cells, right? So, and that's the problem with most things we take, is they don't permeate the cells. So that's why I stay with what I stay with. I try to take everything liquid. Like my vitamin D is D3 liquid. It's potent. Every drop is 1,000 milligrams of C. So I take 10 units a day. But and then the C60 is liquid. I do an iodine. It's a new iodine that I've just gotten. Do I have it here? It's actually from Edgar Casey's company. And I'll talk about that one day next week, about the different iodines. But, and again, why do I take the iodine? I tell you this all the time. We're in a grand solar minimum. We have cosmic ray flux. We're trying to protect our thyroid. Then also the other video I just did, understanding how important the thyroid is. The thyroid is kind of a linchpin for us in many different ways, spiritually, physically, and mentally. So let's move over to some of these. All right, varicose veins. People are having huge results with varicose veins. Some of them, they were in pain. That seems to diminish quite quickly. This woman here says, because we were short on time, I did 10 minutes on a woman yesterday, no Terra water before, etc. She is a body worker, so she's more in tune with her body than most. She says after the experience, she felt completely rejuvenated. Okay, so there's that one. See what else we have here. Oh, skin, acne, wrinkles, sagging skin. I haven't even gotten to doing that on myself yet. Incontinence. Animals, people are using it on their animals. Some dogs won't like it, they don't like the sound. Face tightening happens really quickly. There's this really cool thing here. It's called Terahertz Frequency, want injury recovery, DNA expression, and fulvic acid. So I'm going to have that in the links below. I haven't watched it yet, so it will be in the links below if you want to know more. Again, you can go to this, you can actually ask to friend me on Facebook, and then I will invite you into the group. So this woman said, I got my wand, used it on my boo-boos. I made a list. Less than 5 minutes each. Ankle from previous surgery, caused by car accident, no feeling on top of foot, and painful to touch, and incision. Both hips hurt from accident. Both shoulders have rotator tears. Next day, all were pain-free. It was completely wiped out later in the day. Yeah, I found that too. Last night I had a really bad headache, so she was detoxing. And a toothache. She wanted her head, opened her mouth. No headache, no toothache. Moles. This woman, her son is, I might have talked about this, is autistic, and I guess not very functional, and now he's getting up in the morning and making sandwiches. She says it's a big deal. Yeah, hair. We're using it as a hair dryer. It's doing a lot for our hair. Somebody says, my client with very bad skin condition says, I'm loving the device. I've been using it the past week. It's more of an anti-itch device and a healing one for me at the moment. So it's actually taking the itching away. She says she wants to scratch her skin off. Yeah, that's liver. So, you know, I would say, you know, go and work on the liver too. Used it on her stepmom's foot. She's been struggling with. She got up and was able to go up on her tippy toes. I mean, this stuff's crazy. I said, what doesn't this thing, you know, aid in health? Degenerative arthritis of my neck. I felt like the Tin Man. Every move I made, there was a snap, crackle, pop. So she took out her wand, set it up to wand the back of her neck for 5 minutes. She said, I got some oil in my neck, no pills, no anti-inflammatory, just my wand. So it worked right away. Let's see, we got another one here. Feedback from a friend that I wanted a few days ago. First day she felt exhausted and went home to bed, but today she sent this. So for me, the first few days I was exhausted. I mean, I was using it on everything, and so I went, I might want to pull back. And I smelled funny. And so what was happening is I was detoxing. It was like really detoxing me at a cellular level. And I don't know of what or what, you know, I mean, the crap that goes into our body. It's unavoidable. I don't care who you are. And so I had to keep taking showers. I couldn't stand it. Okay. So anyways, she felt exhausted, went home to bed. She said, slept like a log. I'm sleeping like a log too. So I do my whole treatment. I do it at night, right before I go to sleep. First time waking up for a long, long time where I didn't have a slight headache. Then I went to put my feet down to slowly get off my bed. I used to do it very slowly while all the bones went into place. This morning I stood up easily and quickly, and none of my joints at the moment from head to foot seem to be sort of stuck anywhere. They seem to be flowing nicely. She said, you know how I was talking about my hands might be getting arthritis? Well, I'm waking up straight away and making a fist of my sore hand wasn't sore at all. My fingers were starting to go a little numb. I couldn't figure it out why, but they're not doing it now. Just my middle finger, but maybe I'm using that too much. All right. So, people saying they're shedding fat. They put it on their stomach and they drink the water. Fitting back into clothes I thought I'd need to throw away. That seems to be a slower process. Dark spots on the face. A couple of East Indian women are playing with that. I mean, it just goes on. I could just keep going on. I could be here for 2 hours, 3 hours, and just keep opening these and reading them. So, there you go. It's not expensive, $350 compared to everything else. And it works. It works right away. So I'm going to put that all below. And then I'm going to make a second video about an ancient civilization I've been reading about. It is fascinating. So you know me all over the place with the YouTube videos. Almost done with the outside, so I will show it to you in the next couple of days. Just doing some weeding now and getting it all straightened out. I'm so burnt out on gardening that I do have about 50 plants in pots here. It looks beautiful. And one of the things I'm going to do is clear this area where I can have chamomile as ground cover, which I did back in Berkeley. But I'm starting to get in the mood, and want to do it again. So, I don't know. It's taken a minute. Okay, everybody. Radical Gardener. From my garden to yours, may your garden always grow. You know I'm sending you a ton of love. Okay, see you soon. Bye-bye.